What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, Talk with Beauties, episode 103, the Wednesday news. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about MLB because opening day is Thursday. The NFL has a couple new rule changes. We're going to discuss about that. And the NCAA hockey bracket regionals are released, so we're going to talk about our opinions about that. But first, let's head into the NHL. So not a lot to talk about with the NHL, not a lot of new news. We'll say though, playoffs are around the corner, so a lot of teams are finding those scenarios of clinching pretty soon. So keep an eye out on that, on clinching playoff berths, because there are a couple teams this week that could get those spots. As of right now, there are only 4 teams that have been eliminated from the playoffs. That's Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose, and Columbus. So those 4 teams obviously were never going to make playoffs this year, but are officially eliminated from the playoff situation. The other news outside of playoffs, we have Calgary goaltender Dan Vladar. He underwent hip surgery and he will be done for the year. Hearing words that Dustin Wolf will be called up from the minor league system and will be the backup the rest of the season. The other news, we got Washington's Tom Wilson was suspended 6 games for high-staking Toronto's Noah Gregor. Honestly, not real surprised that Wilson got 6 games. He's had a bad reputation when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I feel like it was escalated to this point. So I'm not very surprised he got 6 games. Nasty hit. I don't think it was on purpose, but I think it's well deserved that he got that 6 games. It's tough news because Washington is in that hunt for the playoff spot, and they definitely could use Wilson in that lineup. All right, let's head to the NFL now. We'll start off with the trade between Tennessee and Kansas City. Kansas City are getting a couple picks in exchange for L'Jarius Sneed. He's going over. That's a really big pickup for Tennessee. They also extended him earlier today to 4 years, $76.4 million. Definitely think Tennessee got better bringing in Sneed. LA Rams intend to sign Tre'Davious White to 1 year, $8.5 million. That's going to be a solid pickup too. I'm very curious to see what the Rams are going to do this offseason going into next season. As of right now, I'm not very high on them, but I definitely would like to see this Ram team get better. Pittsburgh signs Cordero Patterson to 2 years. And now we head into the rule changes. So we got 2 new rule changes. The hip drop tackle has officially been banned from the NFL. I will show up a picture right now what that tackle looks like. It looks like it's just going to be a judgment call for those referees. It's going to be more of, is that player losing all of his weight and quote-unquote dropping it onto the player's lower body, which gives you that hip drop tackle. It's going to be very hard to tell. I think it's going to be a lot of judgment calls, and definitely people are not going to be happy with this, but it's just going to be part of the game going forward. It's going to be hard now for the defensive guys to tackle because you're trying to do everything you can to slow these guys down, and now you're taking away one of those type of tackles, which honestly I don't think is all that bad. I guess they're just kind of doing it for player safety as well because of the head kind of being vulnerable at that position. So who knows exactly why they're taking it out. They could keep saying why and so forth, but honestly, I don't think this is a very good rule change. The second one, which is very controversial, is a new kickoff setup. So perfect picture by Ian Rappaport. He posted. I'll pop this up on the board and explain what is happening to you audio listeners. So for this next 2024 season, we will be getting this new quote-unquote hybrid kickoff. So the somewhat of an offensive and defensive line will be starting. The defensive line will be starting on the 40-yard line, offensive line on the 35-yard line, and that will be pretty much eliminating that full-on speed where the NFL did not like that full speed contact going in for like 40, 50-yard runs, which I understand that part. Kicker will be back on the 35-yard line all alone by himself. I think that is normal, 35-yard line. And then there will be a landing zone behind that 35-yard line of the receiver offensive line kind of thing. There will be 2 receiving players in that zone from the goal line to the 20-yard line. That ball needs to be kicked into that landing zone. If it is kicked into the end zone or further, the ball will be placed on the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it will be placed on the 40-yard line. So they're really trying to emphasize returning the ball more, which I think is going to get you're going to see that more in this, but they're mainly doing it, I think, because of the injuries. They don't want to see these players knocking heads at 40 yards of run up speed at each other, which I completely understand. I agree with that. It's just going to be very weird to watch. We're not going to see any more onside kicks that for surprise. You have to tell the team we are onside kicking, which I think that's it's not used very often, but I do like to see that occasional fake kickoff to an onside kick. I always think that's kind of a cool and exciting play. So yeah, the main purpose is for player safety. Hopefully we'll get more returns. That is what the NFL also wants out of this, because I think as of right now, I thought I heard a number around 28% of the kickoffs have been returned for a decent amount of yards, which is not very much. A lot of fair catches, a lot of touchbacks, and a lot of balls being kicked into the back of the end zone, which is honestly just a waste of a play at that point. So they're trying to not waste the kickoff. This is only going to be for 1 year. If it goes well, we'll see it implemented full time. I think it's going to be a big hit. I just don't think people are going to like it right now. All right, let's head to the MLB. So before we talk about anything when it comes to the trades, signings, opening day, let's start off with the biggest topic in the MLB, Ippei and Shohei Ohtani. So if you don't know this already, Shohei Ohtani and his translator Ippei have been centered around pretty much all the news when it comes to outside actually playing baseball. Supposedly, Shohei Ohtani's aka Ippei, has been fired due to questions regarding a $4.5 million of wired money to a bookmaker. Ippei claims that Ohtani knew about this and was helping him repay his debts. Ohtani had came back and said that this is not true, and he was made aware of this until recently. So he did not know any of this was happening. This was all behind the scenes. Ippei says he knew about it the whole time. So we're getting two different sides of the stories. The only thing is, before I get into further this, Ippei did say he knew about it. Ippei then said he didn't know about it. So I don't know which one to believe from that. Ohtani says he never knew about it. Of course, he wants to try and protect himself. So even if Ohtani is involved in this, of course he's going to say, I was not involved in this. So I personally want to believe Ohtani. I think Ippei is in the wrong here based off of what Ohtani has said. I don't know what to believe. We'll move on though. Ippei says he claimed to the Angels organization that he graduated from UC Riverside as a translator. I'm not sure exactly what the degree was in 2007. And the school shows no record of that being the case. So that's just another little nugget of him potentially lying, definitely to higher up organizations and making his name look good. So this is another bad sign for Ippei here. Ohtani spoke to the media yesterday. He announced that he was going to be taking questions, ended up retracting that and saying he's just going to make a big statement. It was all over. I think MLB Network was broadcasting it. These are the kind of nuggets, the two lines that really kind of stood out to me, and I think most of the people out there. So this is a quote straight from Shohei. He says, "I never bet on baseball or any other sports. I never have asked someone to do it on my behalf. I never went through a bookmaker, to bet on sports." And then he also said, "Ippei has been stealing money from my account and has told lies." End of quote. That's really strong words from Shohei. Ippei and him were pretty much yin and yang, peanut butter and jelly. Like those two, whenever you see Shohei, you see Ippei as well. Ippei even went to the World Baseball Classic when Shohei was playing for Japan. Ippei doesn't have to be there. Everyone speaks Japanese besides, I think, Lars Nootbaar, so he might have been helping out Lars, but besides that, everyone's speaking Japanese, so he doesn't need to be there. So he had pretty much the best spot in baseball if you're not a baseball player. He goes around, he speaks Japanese and English to whoever he needs to, and he pretty much threw that out the drain. If this is all true, if Shohei is 100% not at fault here, and Ippei has been stealing this money and doing it behind his back, I don't know what makes you do that. I don't know how you have the ethical okay in your head to do this kind of thing. It's very tough to listen to because I really liked Ippei and Shohei together. They seem to have a lot of fun. And now to drag Shohei into this, if he is involved, then we have a Pete Rose incident in here. What do we do with him? Do we ban him from baseball altogether? Do we give him the pass because he might be the best baseball player we've ever seen before, especially this generation right now? I don't know. That is a tough situation for Rob Manfred right now. Investigation is underway right now about this, so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to say too much because this is all allegedly, and I think I would love to see that Shohei's not involved in this whatsoever and he's telling 100% the truth. But obviously, we need an investigation, because if Shohei is involved in all this, then we got a lot more problems than just firing Ippei and moving on from this. So a lot of situation going down in the Dodger organization, and the season has barely even started. All right, let's head into trades and signings. We'll start off with the trade. Toronto trades Santiago Espinal to Cincinnati in exchange for pitcher Chris McElvin. Then we head over to the signings. Texas has signed Michael Lorenzen to a 1-year, $4.5 million contract. The New York Mets signed JD Martinez for 1 year, $12 million. Baltimore signs Tony Kemp, and Arizona signs Jordan Montgomery. Colorado will extend Ezekiel Tovar to 8 years, $84 million. And then we get into the IL news. St. Louis, Sonny Gray, he will start on the IL with a hamstring injury. And 2 pitchers for Arizona, Eduardo Rodriguez will be out with a left lat strain, and Paul Sewell will be out with a grade 2 left oblique strain. So tough news for those guys starting on the IL as the season is starting up on Thursday. Supposedly, Chicago Cubs, and the LA Dodgers have privately been chosen for the 2025 season opener in the Tokyo series. I'm not sure too much about this. I have only heard one thing about it, so I would say it's probably true. I trust the source that did bring it out. So that's gonna be really cool. See Chicago Cubs. I believe Seiya Suzuki is from Japan, and obviously Shohei Ohtani is also Japanese, and Yamamoto's Japanese, so that's going to be fun for those guys going back and playing the MLB games in Japan. And definitely for the fans, Japanese baseball is very big, so they're going to be packed for that. They love Shohei Ohtani. They packed that stadium for him during the WBC, so that's going to be very fun to watch those teams play to start off the 2025 season. And as I mentioned just a couple seconds ago, opening day is starting on Thursday. Everybody starts on Thursday. Not everybody plays Friday. Saturday and Sunday, everybody is back on. So if you have a 4-game series, you are playing on Friday. If you have a 3-game series, you play Thursday, have a break on Friday, and then finish off the series on Saturday and Sunday. So check out your calendar, find your favorite team. Obviously, I will give you the best series of the week going into the very last games of the weekend. So I'll give you that one, but obviously check out your favorite teams. Baseball season is starting, so we got a long season, and pretty much let's get ready for it, because I think it's going to be a pretty good year for baseball. All right, let's head to college basketball. March Madness has been underway. Started last Thursday, went through the weekend, and we are on break until Thursday, which is the Sweet 16s. But before we talk about Sweet 16s, let's talk about the round of 64s and round of 32s. We're really just going to talk about the upsets here, really what kind of stood out for me as we're going through. So we'll start off with Duquesne. They ended up winning their first NCAA tournament game in 55 years. So great job for Duquesne. They ended up losing, though, in the round of 32s. Dayton ended up surviving the upset against Nevada. It would have been a 7-10 upset. They were down 17 points at 7 minutes to go. Ended up winning by 3. It was their first win in 9 years. So congrats to Dayton. Oakland ended up becoming the Cinderella story of this year. They took down the big dogs of Kentucky, the Wildcats. Jack Golke ended up putting up 11 3-pointers in that one, which became tied for the NCAA record. 98% of Golke's shots this year have been from the 3-point line. Only 8 total shots have been from the 2-point, inside the 3-point line for 2 points. So this guy's a 3-point shooter. He was on fire. Oakland ended up winning that one, but ended up losing in the round of 32s. James Madison upset Wisconsin. That was one that I called. I really thought James Madison was going to win that one. Ended up doing that. It's the first time they moved on to the round of 32 since 1983. So great job by them. Ended up losing in the second round, unfortunately. Oregon beat South Carolina. That was one a lot of people were calling. Ended up losing, though, to Creighton in round of 32s in an exciting double overtime game. Unfortunately, the score does not look great, but it was a much closer game than what the scoreline shows. Oregon ended up just not being able to sink really any shots in that double overtime. Creighton looked outstanding in overtime. So really exciting game to end that round of 32 nights. I think that was on Saturday, but that was a great matchup for those two. NC State beat Texas Tech, and NC State looks very good. I think they're just riding high with that ACC tournament champion. They're looking great. They're into the Sweet 16s as well. They won their round of 32 matchup. So great job by the Wolfpack. Northwestern beat FAU. This was a great win as well. FAU went to the Final Four last year, so a lot of high expectations there, just not able to meet it this year. Unfortunately, Northwestern had to meet up against UConn and just got smoked. Yale beat Auburn. Yale looked actually very good. They never seemed to be out of this one. The Tigers of Auburn had the lead into halftime. Hopefully you guys saw that meme with Charles Barkley on the set with the cigar, just not even worried, carried in the world. Yale ended up winning this one. They lost in the next round, but honestly, one of their biggest wins in program history. So congrats to the Bulldogs there. Colorado beat Florida in a nail-biter of a score, 102-100. Very large score. I've never seen this large of a score in a regulation game. That might have been a record. I don't know, but I've never seen a score this high in a regulation game, especially not in the tournament. So great win by Colorado. Unfortunately, they just fell short against Marquette. Had a pretty much scared Marquette into that one, but just fell short in the round of 32s. Texas A&M beat Nebraska, I was very surprised. I have them moving on in this one. They're the only team in the Power 5 that has 0 tournament wins. I was shocked when I heard this news. Nebraska being such a big school when it comes to like football and even volleyball recently, you would think their basketball team would have at least one NCAA tournament win. They've had 0. So they're definitely going to have to wait another year because A&M won that one. So very surprising to see that and hear about that, especially when you hear teams like UMBC being able to make runs as a 16 seed. And Loyola Chicago, I think they made it as a 12 seed. They made that crazy magical run with Sister Jean. Sister Jean was her name. So to hear Nebraska to not have a tournament win, very surprising. Hopefully it comes sooner than later, though. And last upset of the round 64s was GCU over St. Mary's. GCU looked very good. They went into the round of 32s, though, played a very hard battled game against Alabama. Alabama was just able to edge them out in the end, winning it on free throws. But that game was very odd, very physical game, kind of a let them play kind of situation there. But GCU overall did look very good in their 2 games. I actually thought they had a great chance to beat the Crimson Tide, but fortunately the Crimson Tide edged them out. We only had one upset, though, in the round of 32s. That was the number 6 ranked Clemson over the third ranked Baylor. So fortunately, if you guys had Baylor moving on, that didn't look very good. So Clemson, ACC team, moving on. ACC's looking very good in this tournament right now. So as we mentioned, Sweet 16 starts on Thursday, 4:09 p.m. Pacific time. And that is also going to be the same time for Friday's game. So let's get into the matchups. We got 8 matchups, obviously. We'll start off on first 4 will be Thursday. The last 4 will be on Friday. So starting off with Clemson versus Arizona. That's a 6 ranked versus number 2 ranked. Number 5 ranked SDSU versus number 1 ranked UConn. Number 4 ranked Alabama versus number 1 North Carolina. And number 3 Illinois versus number 2 Iowa State. We had a Friday where we had number 11 NC State versus number 2 Marquette. Number 5, Gonzaga versus number 1, Purdue. And number 4, Duke versus number 1, Houston. And lastly, we got number 3, Creighton versus number 2, Tennessee. Out of all of these games, I don't know which one I like as an upset. I honestly think all number 1 teams are going to move on. I don't know which team looks most vulnerable. Maybe North Carolina out of all of them, but they still look really good too. ACC teams look very good this tournament. So that's also why I kind of like Clemson over Arizona. Obviously, I don't like Arizona. You guys already know that. But I think Arizona should be able to beat Clemson. But I think Clemson's not going to be easy. And Marquette versus NC State. I think Marquette's actually going to be kind of vulnerable. They looked vulnerable against Colorado. NC State's running high right now. It's just when is that going to run out? That's going to be the biggest question. So NC State, I'd circle them as a potential upset as well. Purdue, I think, is going to be fine. Houston should be fine. I think Creighton actually is going to beat Tennessee. I think Creighton looks very good. I really like them. I think they're always a very solid NCAA tournament team. Tennessee does look very good, but I just like Creighton just a little bit better. So I think those are probably a couple games to watch, a couple teams to pay attention to going into the Sweet 16s. All right, let's head to college hockey now. So we'll start off with the auto bids. Not very surprised on a couple of these teams. Also, we'll get into the regionals after that, and then a couple of the snubs based off of these auto bids. So we'll start off with the auto bids. RIT wins the Atlantic Hockey Association. They beat American International. That was one that would have been huge if American International ended up pulling that upset off. Michigan State ends up beating Michigan for the Big Ten. Michigan Tech beats Bemidji State for the CCHA. Cornell beats St. Lawrence for the ECAC. St. Lawrence was on that Cinderella run as well. I think they were a 10 seed going into that for that bracket for that conference, so that would have been a huge upset if they were able to get that auto bid there. Boston College beats Boston University for the Hockey East, and Denver beats Omaha for the NCHC conference. So we had our 6 auto bids. That means there was 10 bids left open. So here are the regionals. We'll start off with the Maryland Heights, number 4 ranked Michigan State versus Western Michigan, and North Dakota versus Michigan. So those, we got 3 Michigan schools at the Maryland Heights, and then North Dakota as well. The number 1 seed out of the whole tournament is in the Providence region. Boston College will have to face Michigan Tech, and Wisconsin will face Quinnipiac. We go to Sioux Falls. The 2-ranked Boston University will have to face RIT, and Minnesota will face Omaha. And lastly, we have Springfield with a 3rd-ranked Denver has to face UMass, and Maine has to play Cornell. Looking at the regionals, I will talk about who really got snubbed in this one. Colorado College has to be one that people are talking about. They finished the season ranked 15th in the country, 21-13-3 record. They played outstanding all season long. I'll take that back. They played great all season long. They played outstanding to end the season. I thought that they should be deserving of a spot here. I understand that we have auto bids and that fills up things. I think having teams like Cornell and Michigan Tech get in because of those auto bids did hurt them in the long run. But you look at teams like Omaha, were able to beat them late. So I think that's what gave them the edge and putting them in the Sioux Falls regional against Minnesota. Minnesota making it as well. RIT probably should not be in there, but because they get that auto bid, they're fine. But even if it was American International, I think vice versa, whoever wins that regional or that tournament for the conference is still going to edge out Colorado College. So that's unfortunate there. I think Colorado College deserved to be in there. It just was, there was a lot of really good teams this year. The other teams, Providence was very good this year as well. Finished 16th. I think they were in the rankings all season long as well. Finished 18, 13, and 4, so a little bit worse than Colorado College, but didn't have as many games if you look at it. I think they had 1 or 2 games less if you look at the total games played. So Providence has looked very good all season long. The last one, Bemidji State, they finished 20th, just squeaked in as the last team for the rankings to end the season, but they were 20-15-2. That was a little bit of a long shot for them. I think they needed to win their conference tournament, and unfortunately did not, but put up a good fight. So they're ones that I thought potentially could have been in here. So just looking at them, if I would have had to take out a team or two and put in Colorado College and Providence, I would take out Western Michigan and put in Colorado College there. I think they'd fare well against Michigan State. And then if I could take RIT out and put Providence in there, but because they won their conference, I can't do that. Same with Cornell. I would take them out as well. But looking at this, I guess you would have to go with Maine. Would have to be probably the lowest ranked team here that did not get an auto bid. So would I put Maine in front of Providence? I think that's a coin flip. So that one's going to be questionable, but definitely would have put Colorado College in there, and I think I would have taken Western Michigan out. That's just my thoughts, but curious what you guys think. Leave your comments down below if you guys think I'm right, wrong, if you guys have a different opinion. Where are you guys going to watch this? So you can watch this on, games could either be on ESPN2, ESPNU, or ESPN News. Sioux Falls and Springfield regionals will start on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The regional finals will be on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we head to the Maryland Heights and Providence. That will start on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The regional finals will be Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So same times, just a different day. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you could watch college hockey on the ESPN channel. So check out that. Should be really good hockey as well. So if you're NC or your NHL team is out of playoff contention, watch some college hockey because it's going to be very good to watch. Let's head to college softball. We'll start off obviously with the rankings. pop up the graphic right there. We'll start off with number 1. Oklahoma State's put at number 1. Texas State's put at 2. Georgia gets a plus 2 to 3. Tennessee gets a plus 3 to 4. Duke drops 1 to 5. Stanford gets a plus 2 to 6. LSU drops 4 to 7. Washington gets a plus 1 to 8. Florida gets a plus 1 to 9. Oklahoma State drops 4 to 10. Virginia Tech gets a plus 1 to 11. Texas A&M gets a plus 2 to 12. Missouri gets a plus 3 to 13. Alabama gets a plus 1 to 14. UCLA drops 2 to 15. Clemson drops 5 to 16. Mississippi State gets a plus 3 to 17. Florida State stays put at 18. Cal gets a plus 2 to 19. Arkansas drops 3 to 20. Baylor and Oregon are both tied at 21. Baylor jumps up 2. Oregon jumps up 1. 22, obviously, no one's ranked there. 23, Texas State goes from unranked to 23. Kansas goes from unranked to 24, and Louisiana goes from unranked to 25. We had 4 teams drop out. That was Arizona, Kentucky, and South Carolina. We had other receiving votes that were, of course, double digits. Arizona was 33, South Carolina at 32, Kentucky at 15, and Boston University at 14. So let's head into the upsets of the weekend. Obviously, graphics up right there. The weekday upsets, we had Tulsa over number 6, Oklahoma State, 3-0. Number 25 ranked South Carolina beat number 11 ranked Clemson 6-4. That finished in 12 innings. And Texas State beat Texas A&M 4-3. We had a Friday where number 16 ranked Missouri beat number 3 ranked LSU 10-9. BYU beat number 6 ranked Oklahoma State 11-8. Virginia beats number 11 ranked Clemson 6-4. Number 15 ranked Alabama beats number 12 ranked Virginia Tech 1-0. And number 20, two more. Number 20, Mississippi State beats number 17, Arkansas 6-3, and number 24 ranked Arizona beats number 21 ranked Cal 9-5. Then we head to Saturday, where number 16 ranked Missouri beat number 3 LSU again, this time 3-2, and Louisville beat number 4 Duke 2-1. Lastly, we head to Sunday. We had 2 upsets. Virginia winning 3-0 over number 11 ranked Clemson, and number 20 Mississippi State beat number 17 Arkansas 15-7. Arizona State update of the week. They had no games this midweek, so nothing to worry about, just a lot of practice there. Unfortunately, they have dropped now to a record of 17-14. They got swept in Eugene, Oregon against the Oregon Ducks, losing on Friday 2-3, Saturday 4-6, and Friday 5-0. So not a good performance there. Obviously, was not there to watch it. So I'm not too sure exactly what happened, but obviously it looks like the bats just were not coming alive. You lose 5-0 and 2-3. Looks like pitching did not do terrible, but probably could have done better. Looking at a 6 and a 5 slots in there. So hopefully they bounce back this upcoming weekend. They have two midweek games against San Diego. Weird, it is a double header on Tuesday. So as I'm recording this, they're actually playing right now. So that's kind of a weird scheduling there. And hopefully they're able to kind of get themselves back in the win column there. All right, let's head to college baseball. Start off with the rankings there. Boom. Arkansas stays put at 1. Oregon State stays put at 2. Clemson gets a plus 1 to 3. Texas A&M gets a plus 3 to 4. Tennessee gets a plus 3 to 5. Florida stays put at 6. Vanderbilt drops 4 to 7. LSU drops 3 to 8. Virginia gets a plus 5 to 9. DBU gets a plus 5 to 10. Duke drops 2 to 11. Wake Forest gets a plus 4 to 12. Virginia Tech gets a plus 6 to 13. UNC gets a plus 6 to 14. Eastern Carolina drops 5 to 15. Alabama drops 5 to 16. Florida State drops 5 to 17. South Carolina drops 6 to 18. Coastal Carolina drops 6 to 19. UCI gets a plus 4 to 20. Mississippi State stays put at 21. NC State goes from unranked to 22. K-State goes from unranked to 23. Kentucky goes from unranked to 24. And Oklahoma drops 8 to 25. If we had 4 teams drop out this week, TCU, Campbell, Auburn, and UC Santa Barbara all dropped out of the top 25s. Let's head into the upsets of the week. We had 2 graphics for this week, meaning that we had a lot of upsets, a lot on Saturday. But we'll start off with the midweek upsets. Jacksonville beating number 6 ranked Florida 7-6. NC State beating number 13 ranked Coastal Carolina 9-8. Then we had 2 Friday. Number 21 Mississippi State beat number 7 ranked Texas A&M 5-1. NC State beating number 9 Duke 4-3. UTSA beating number 10 Eastern Carolina 4-2. Delaware beating number 22 Campbell 10-8. And Cal Poly beating number 25 UC Santa Barbara 8-3. we head to Saturday, where it was a busy Saturday. 23 ranked Auburn beating number 1 ranked Arkansas, 8-6. South Carolina beating number 3 Vanderbilt 8-4. Number 6 Florida beating number 5 LSU. If you want to call that an upset, it's really evenly ranked game there. Anyways, Florida winning this one 6-4 in 11 innings. Ole Miss beating number 8 Tennessee 8-5. NC State beating number 9 Duke 9-8. UTSA beating number 10 Eastern Carolina 4-2 again. Georgia had a doubleheader with number 11 Alabama and won both 9-5 and 6-5. App State beat number 13 Coastal Carolina 16-8. Louisville beating number 16 Wake Forest 7-3. West Virginia beating 17 Oklahoma 9-5. And Oklahoma State beating 18 TCU 6-2. Then we had a Sunday where it was a lot more quieter. South Carolina beat number 3 Vanderbilt 10-2. Florida again upsetting number 5 LSU in 8 innings 12-2. UTSA sweeping 10 ranked Eastern Carolina 6-5, and Cal Poly beating number 25 ranked UC Santa Barbara 6-3. We head into the Arizona State update of the week. They have fallen down to 10-14. A busy weekend and not a good one. They had a split against Utah Valley on Tuesday and Wednesday, winning 5-4 but losing 5-7 the next day. Then they were at Washington State and got swept by them 7-8, 3-2, and 8-6. So not a good performance out in Pullman, Washington against Washington State. So hopefully this weekend against Cal at home, they're able to figure that out. That one starts on Thursday actually because of Easter on Sunday. And they had one game against UNLV earlier this week, and it actually was played on Monday, so we actually know the performance of that. The boys are now up to 11-14 because of that. They beat UNLV 10-9. Funny story. I was trying to look to see what was going on with the scores. Unfortunately, they were not posting on their Instagram for some reason. Nothing on the stories or anything. Nothing that I noticed. So I went to the UNLV page to kind of figure out, well, hey, how are they doing? They posted early that in the first 3 innings, it was 7-1 UNLV. I was like, oh, geez. So I kind of figured UNLV was going to win this. I think UNLV media thought that they were going to win that too, because when I checked back, they were posting a lot more of like, oh, hey, we're winning. And then all of a sudden I see the final score was 10-9 ASU. So great job by the boys putting up the come from behind win there. But I just thought that was kind of funny. UNLV thinking they're going to win this one, posting all over, and then ASU comes out of nowhere, upset, or if you want to call it an upset, I don't really think so, but come from behind win against UNLV 10-9. All right, games of the weekend. We'll start off with the NHL. Predators versus Avalanche, Saturday at 3 p.m. Avalanche are at top of the Central. Predators are fighting for that wild card spot, so it should be a pretty solid matchup there. MLB Opening series, Braves versus Phillies. That should be a very solid series, so check out that one. Softball, 11 ranked Virginia Tech versus number 5 Duke. That's a 3-game. And baseball, number 8 LSU versus number 1 Arkansas. Obviously, another 3-game series. All right, guys. Well, hey, that will do it for us. Thank you guys for listening or watching episode 103 in the books. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and that bell so you guys are notified when new episodes are dropped. If you guys are listening to the podcast, make sure you guys follow the Instagram and Twitter so you guys are notified when those ones drop. Or even you can put a bell icon as well for, I know, Apple and maybe even Spotify as well for when those episodes drop, so you guys are not behind either. Make sure you guys follow the Instagram and the Twitter so you guys get a little bit more updates, because I have been posting about our college basketball brackets. So if you guys want to know what's going on with the group, who's in the lead, who's losing, who's very good, and who's very bad, that is on the Instagram and the Twitter, so check out those ones. TikTok has not been going well. It might be banned, not too sure. But I will try to get myself back into that. We got a new episode coming out this weekend about MLB preview. It's a packed podcast. It should be a lot of fun. We haven't recording it on Wednesday, so we will get that out on Thursday or Friday. Most likely Friday. I will try my best for Thursday, but most likely it will come out Friday. Just gonna be a preview of the MLB season, so make sure you guys check out that if you guys like MLB. Of course, we will post on the socials when it does drop, so make sure you guys go follow that. So thank you guys for listening to this one. Have an awesome weekend. Watch some baseball, watch some college basketball, watch some college hockey, because there's a lot to cover. So we'll see you guys next week.